And here is where we make it to weapons that are completely viable for single player and multiplayer. And while I'm not saying that the other ones aren't viable, I'm just saying that these ones are the most viable and the safest options. Now we get to by far the easiest weapon in the game, the dual blades. Man, that was an easy name. I don't know why it took me so long to remember it. Now, the dual blades are probably the easiest weapon in the whole game, which is why they only got a 1 out of 5 in difficulty. But another thing is, with how simple it is, its moveset is lacking a lot. I mean, this is the only attack you're going to want to use, which is fine. Dishes out some mean damage. And also, like the sword and shield, these things have really good elemental damage, but I wouldn't recommend their status damage because these things don't come with as high status. But with all that aside, where this weapon really shines is single player, because most of the time you're gonna trip up your teammates using the demon dance or something, because I've experienced this and occasionally done this. It is really disruptive when you use it right next to one of your teammates. So this is definitely a single player weapon rather than a multiplayer one. But once again, this moveset is lacking, which I don't like too much. Sure, I love spamming this one attack, but also I enjoy some variety in my attacks, which is always desirable. But when it comes to this weapon specifically, of course it's fine without variety, but it's gonna use that. Oh no, good. I hate that one attack, that Kangala will just spam, because it has basically no tell aside from the 2 turns, which it has a tell for every attack. But it does too much damage, knocks you all the way back, and he has no. See, with this attack, he has a ton of recovery time, but that's his one attack that doesn't have any recovery time. Which is really annoying, but why am I talking about an attack? I'm talking about weapon attacks, not monster attacks. Anyways, ooh, that was fast. But yeah, dual blades, easiest weapon, probably the best weapon for beginners. And it would score higher, but when actually using these weapons technically, I can indeed say that all the other weapons outscale this one, but damage-wise, it's actually really good. Once again, weapons are. You saw how fast I killed that Kangala, and also if you use it with Mega Juice or Power Juice, it's insane, phenomenal, because you can just use Infinite Demon Dance. And here's where I'm going to get into its R1. Of course, I give it a 5 out of 5, but it will drain your stamina, just a quick precaution. Aside from the stamina drain, though, there's really no other drawbacks to using this. Also, if you press B twice, you can do the Demon Dance. Also, if your weapon sharpness decreases. Okay, one of the gripes I have with this is how quickly your weapon sharpness deteriorates, and that's about it. Lots of weapons actually have poor sharpness, but certain attacks have certain rates for decreasing sharpness, and ooh, look at that shot. This one decreases sharpness, like a Demon Dance decreases sharpness pretty fast. Also, it ignores bounce off, or more like it just doesn't make you flinch when it bounces. But yeah, this is a good weapon. So anyways, I'll move on to our number 6 spot. Starting now. And at our midway point, we have the heavy bowgun. Now, I think in my last video I might have put light bowgun above heavy bowgun, because once again I was a big dummy dumb. I'm sorry, I actually tried to make this one fair and balanced, so please don't get mad at me if I screw up again, because I actually tried this time. I'm not just randomly saying this, I actually know what I'm talking about, because I have used every weapon. I can't think of a weapon I haven't used in this game. But yeah. This is the best damage dealing ranged weapon in the game. The only thing it falls short on is, of course, its movement, which, God, is that slow. But yeah, this thing deals quite the damage, actually. It packs a real punch. And also, it can have a shield and block, which is why I gave it a 2 out of 5 in guard. I was being generous there. Really, the block almost seems random, because I don't know how I'm actually supposed to use it. I'm not sure how the block works. Like, the block just, once again, it just seems random to me. Like, I feel like there isn't a real way to tell what the block does. Only because it's just that random, really. I'm gonna stop talking about random. I don't know how to use block that well. Maybe it's because I'm a dummy-dumb, but yeah, if you're good at dodge rolling from attacks and you know what the monster's attack pattern is, this weapon is the weapon for you. Okay, good, I escaped that. But yeah, like, this is my favorite ranged weapon to use, and I know I said bow was the most fun, and I still stand by that, but this is the most satisfying once used, because you get those big, juicy hits off. You're dealing damage, you're making the monster flinch. You're getting roared at, but you're far away, so you'll be fine. I feel like this one, I feel like it would be broken if, like, at least in this game, it would be broken if you, oh, I just guarded. Yeah, I'm pretty sure you hold the item button to guard, which is a bit weird, but okay, I'll take that. Also, there are really good builds you can do with the heavy bowguns for massive damage. And if you like shooter games, well, you can kind of make this a shooter game if you want to call it that. Like, once again, this weapon is really good, phenomenal, but compared to the other weapons, this thing sort of falls short. Anyways, that's why it's at the midway point. It's good, but there are better options. But this is the best ranged weapon. I'd recommend this highly. The only reason it's not higher is, once again, the defense drawback. And with how slow this is, if you get cornered, you're just going to cart immediately. Or die, whichever way you want to say it. Potato, potato, tomato, tomato. But anyways, now to move on to the number 5 spot on our list. This is where things really start to get good. And might as well just finish these few hits. Maybe if I'm lucky, I'll be able to kill it in these next 3 shots. 1, 2, 3. Missed that one. Alright, well, I'll just move on now. Also, I should have mentioned this because I forgot to, but when it comes to dealing with AoE, this thing is really good. And if I had to say one thing, this is probably the best, well, one of the best, if not the best, multiplayer weapon, because the one weakness this thing has, getting targeted, you have a 25% chance to be targeted unless you're running something else or mainly shooting the monster. If everybody's attacking at once, you can just stay back and start laying in the damage, helping your teammates by a lot. And if you have 4 bowgunners, then it's just disgusting what this thing can do. But anyways, now that I've said that, let's really move on to the number 5 weapon. And next up is the lance. This is also a really good weapon. I would recommend using it if you don't use gun lance. But yeah, the reason this thing is below gun lance on the list is mainly because it's not because of the fact that I like the gun lance better. I do, but that's not why. It's because it just scored higher on the stats. That's really the only reason it's higher, just because of how the stats work. And I don't think it's too ridiculous to say that the gun lance is better than the lance, because of course it has a lot left to be desired in this game. But yeah, this thing just does really good damage. Not as good as the gun lance, which is why the gun lance scored that high, but this weapon is really good. I must say, I am impressed with this. I don't have too much to say except, yeah, it's really good. It has good movement with the dodging. Of course, you can't forward roll, and it is really slow to use like this. But hey, you got this move, which can cover ground, but wouldn't recommend using it unless you're in a... Like, if the monster is toppled, I keep trying to do something else, but... Also, its shield is really good. Mainly, you're just going to use this attack. Its moveset, while nice, it has a lot left to be desired, and also you can forward... block. You can block while moving, which is nice as well. But aside from that, this thing really doesn't have too many downsides aside from poor movement speed, slightly lackluster moveset, and while good damage, not the best damage. That's all I'll really say about this. And in both single player and multiplayer, it plays off about the same. Of course, you can occasionally get the save for your teammate, but other than that, really it's the same in both modes. And it's pretty much just the most decent weapon. Like, the most balanced one. Well, second most balanced one, actually, because there is one more balanced weapon in this game. But anyways, time to move on to the number 4 spot. And this is the cream of the crop here. Number 4. And here's the lowest, but still really good, the first of our cream of the crop, the gun lance. And of course, lots of people say at times this just feels like a clunky lance, but I have to disagree on that part. Sure, it can be clunky at times, but this weapon really shines when it comes to damage. Not as good as hammer or greatsword, but still phenomenal damage. Main reason I say this is because, well, mainly the explosions, which work really well with bombs as well. With this attack, oh, I love that attack. It looks awesome, looks sick. And also this combo where it's just stab and shoot, stab and shoot. While it can't get you punished. Okay, but seriously, can you stop flinching me? But yeah, the explosions are probably the best part of this weapon. Like, the lance part's okay. But then again, it does feel like a clunky lance, sort of. But it doesn't always have to feel clunky. Like, it can actually be not as clunky, but it is a bit slower than the lance. And it really slows down your movement. Also, the dodging's not as good. Well, actually, you can still side dodge. But other than that, it has a lot more pros than cons, and I have to say I definitely like it better than the lance. It's a lot more fun to use with the explosions. And I know they couldn't have put this in the original Monster Hunter because, well, it's too complicated. You have to balance both the explosions and the stabbing part. They had a prototype was literally just fire element. But yeah, aside from that, this really is a good weapon. It's easily my favorite weapon, not in this game, but in the newer games where they made it better, it's definitely my favorite. And with 4 Ultimate being my first game, I love this weapon to no end. It is just that good. Or not that good, it's just that fun. It is easily the most fun weapon you can play with. Maybe not in this game, but maybe not to you, but to me, I love using this. I just wish I could find a good one, and that's another problem. As you progress through the game, the gun lances slowly don't get as good. And also, its block somehow doesn't block as well as the lance does. Wait, how that... How? I was blocking all the way. I guess that attack can kill you through shield? I don't know. Okay, it's embarrassing. This was the weapon I died with, saying it was actually good. I just really screwed up that round. That's on me. I was getting too greedy, and you will get punished if you're greedy using the gun lance. But when you're not greedy and you're playing it safe but also aggressive, see, with this weapon, you want to be aggressive. You want to be as aggressive as possible while staying somewhat safe behind your shield. But when you're aggressive, you can kill things in an instant with the explosions and stuff. And if you use bombs as well, it becomes really good, really powerful. But don't try using this as a lance, because it can't function as a lance. It functions in its own way, where you want to rely on explosions rather than relying mainly on the stabby stuff. And it gets better combos in the new games, which is why I said it's definitely my favorite in all the new games. But now we will move on to our number 3 weapon. And in the number 3 spot, we have the hammer. Definitely a huge improvement from the last video I made. I think it got like 7th or 8th, and I put a weapon that should have been higher above it. Think hunting horn. Yeah, this thing is definitely a monster and a beast. Like, you just go to town when you use this thing. Forget about safety. You just want to get up there and smash stuff. You want to just beat the living daylights out of these things. Make sure it doesn't move again, you know? And its moveset is debatable. Like, you could say, like, I say it has a varying moveset, mainly because of all the levels of charge with different attacks while moving and not moving are pretty good. And the reason why I gave it good movement is because, well, when you charge, you actually move at your normal walking speed, maybe more, maybe less. Who knows? I mean, with this thing, you want to just stick to the head. Attacking the sides isn't really useful with this. But yeah. Now, where this thing really shines is in multiplayer. And the main reason I say this is because sometimes you don't have anyone with knockout, so you can be the guy to stun the monster, which always, like, if you're good at stunning, then your team will just love you. But, yeah, if you're not good at stunning, you still deal really good damage. That's another bonus with this weapon. Its damage is the highest, maybe greatsword's higher. I know in the new games that this has the highest raw value displayed. It might not be the highest raw value at all, but or not all, the highest raw. It can't talk. This thing has really good damage though. Like it's just phenomenal, really. Like I would totally recommend using this if you want to be like the guy with the big beefy hits. If you want to just see you smash the entire ground, cause the ground to shake, and just lay into that monster. Just dealing all the damage and making your team proud of you, I guess. Maybe make your parents proud too by going outside every once in a while instead of, well, doing whatever this is. I know my parents wish I would do that. But anyways, all jokes aside, this is a smash hit weapon. Yeah, I thought a while about that. Why did I phrase it like that? Oh, I'm an idiot. Can I redo it? This weapon is... never mind. But yeah, when you actually do get the stun off, it is really just the most satisfying thing. Also, its spin attack kind of sucks. Like, don't use the spin attack. But yeah, this is really just a good weapon. No real drawbacks, aside from its range, where you have to get really close, but even this attack has a fair amount of range. Not as much as that slam, but actually its range is it's probably one of the most close range weapons. Ooh, yeah, got that clean stun. And we killed it. Anyways, I think that's a good segue to the number 2 weapon we got, which is also really good. I could say that these two could be tied. It's just that due to stats and stuff, one is slightly better than the other. Anyways, I will get to that now. Just hopefully it's a nice clean cut, and here we go. And in second place, we have the Greatsword. Now, some of you may have already seen this coming, but then again, probably not, because there's only 2 left, so I'd say about half of you saw this coming. Like 50-50 chance. Like, one chance that, like, I'd say that there's a small chance that one of you might have guessed that this would be in second place, because really there's only 2 left. But the reason why this outskills the hammer, and I have to say this, I like the hammer better. I was going to say, I'd rather use hammer over greatsword, but I still like using greatsword. All depends on what role you play in your party, how you support the team, and also this thing has a guard which blocks a fair amount, but unless you're fast with your guard times, you're gonna get... I just wouldn't use the guard too much. Like, it does help you on a pinch, but like if you're in a situation where you have to guard fast, I'd say use this. But aside from those situations, This thing also has insane reach, or not insane, it has pretty good reach. Like, I would say definitely use this weapon, but I just chose this one because it looked cool, but definitely choose one that has good sharpness. There are ones that have really good sharpness, use those. Don't use halberd at its current state. Because you will get a lot of bounce. And you will get punished for that bounce. But anyways, while we're on the subject of bounce and stuff, this attack right here, it ignores all bounce like Demon Dance, but is it better than Demon Dance though? I mean, I know I said that it has not that good of a moveset. Once again, this weapon, its moveset I just want to talk about its moveset for a second. Its moveset just flows perfectly with each other because you can get good combos, and really, despite the fact that it's simple, it works just that well together. Like, I would say any day that this is like, just from when I've been playing the first Monster Hunter game, it just feels so good to use the moveset of Greatsword. Ooh, nice flinch. Save myself from getting hit by that. Ooh, save myself again. Not bad. Ooh, I dodged that. How? Thought you had already finished. Oh. Of course. Forgot you couldn't block that, but anyways, now would be an embarrassing yet good time to go on to our best weapon here today. And here we are. We've finally made it to the number one weapon, the cream of the crop, the battle of the ball, the long sword. Now, the reason why this weapon is number one, just like the last video, it does everything phenomenally. It's balanced, but also really good. It's probably the strongest weapon in this game, by far. Well, not in terms of just raw damage, but in terms of how much damage it can output with time. Unlike just immediate damage, it still has a really high base damage value. But also you got a ton of free mobility. It attacks fast. Does insane damage. And really, this thing just shreds. And while yes, you can get punished for certain moves, most of the time you're going to be the one punishing the monster. I mean, you have no downsides to using this whatsoever. It has no weakness. Except one, which I'll cover later. But actually, I don't even think I can think of a weakness for this weapon. It's just perfect. It's the perfect weapon in this game. Also, by the way, this thing can fart when it's in the trap. But yeah, the Spirit Slash is phenomenal. Especially this. Just imagine if the Demon Dance was scaled to times 10. Sure, it's a bit harder to hit. Now, this weapon can sometimes be difficult, but most of the time, it's going to be a cakewalk to use. Its simplicity, it's simple and complex at the same time, and it has good sharpness. And how did that hit me? But anyways, and it's also probably one of the most popular weapons too, aside from Greatsword. But yeah. Like I said, this well, never mind, that was a edited cut, but this is also in terms of popularity, which, if the weapon's widely used, that also gives it some credit. But you can just dish out insane damage when you use this. It's just really, really good. I love using it. It's my favorite weapon to use in this game. And it's just insane what you can do with this thing. The one weakness with this weapon, the one flaw, is you'll trip up your teammates. Yeah, you need to be careful when using this in multiplayer because you'll knock your teammate over a lot. So don't go for the head unless you're by yourself or no. Like, if there's a hammer guy, let the hammer guy take the head. Especially you don't do this when you have teammates because this has a huge hitbox. And this as well. Yeah. But once you build up the spirit cage, as you can see, you actually get a damage buff. See the little triangle? Not triangle. See the little sword next to my name? Yeah. That's your damage buff right there. But yeah, this is just, it's also really fun to use and it's like fun and satisfying to hit. Like I said with the heavy bowgun, it's just satisfying when you land every hit with this. This weapon never ceases to entertain and I just love it to bits. But yeah, that is number one. I stick to this strongly. You cannot change my mind that there is a weapon better than this weapon in this game. Once again, I'm not talking about this a specific one. I'm talking about the class in general. And this one is the most balanced. Some of the best damage. Some of the great range. Great speed. It's just balanced and perfect. Has no flaw except knocking up your teammates. And that's why it is number one. Anyways, thank you all so much for watching. Like and hopefully subscribe. Let me know what you thought of this weapon ranking and if you agree with anything I've said or if you disagree. But anyways, once again, thank you all so much for watching. Have a lovely day and see you around.